Yo, what's going on, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Monday Show, the WrestlePurists Worldwide Show. I'm joined by Joe Hulbert, Manny the Hooper, who is going by the name as an alpha male among men today. We're gonna talk some Survivor Series. We're gonna talk some William Regal contract news, Chris Jericho, whatever else comes up over what was a kind of packed Thanksgiving week. But yeah, man, Joe.
Nick Aldis wrestled, bro.
Didn't know that.
He was the mystery guy in the Steamboat match. Did you not know this?
I haven't caught up on it yet.
Do you even cover wrestling, Monty? What is this?
I guess you could call it that.
I want to thank you, actually, Monty.
Oh,
As you can tell, people, my voice is a little, I'm struggling a little bit. It is what it is. We're soldiers. We battle through in the wrestling podcast game. But I did want to thank you for not adding me in the WrestlePurist star ratings of the week, which I read and immediately was like, Monty is fucking insane for tweeting these out there on a public play. As soon as I saw 3 3/4 for the men's war game, I was like, well, good luck, man. Good luck to all involved.
I haven't read it.
Oh, it was immediately like, LOL, fucking losers. So I was like, I would have just left that one off the Twitter, I think, for the week, but you get what you get. Thank you for not adding me in it, is my point. Also, Monty, we have an overlay for this show.
We do, actually.
Yeah, we have an
overlay. Bad. I was just too busy reading, these.
Reading, yeah.
We've got an intro as well. I'm off the ball today. Jesus.
Let me just start again.
Okay. WrestlePurists Worldwide. See, we're out here now, bro. We're out here.
The funny part about that thread, though, is Kwame. Because this is before I muted it. Kwame said, somebody responded, who rates these? And Kwame said, Dave Meltzer. And someone said, of course that makes sense. And then Kwame responded, no, you idiot. It says WrestlePurists contributors on top.
He gets people doing it every week, man. There'll be like 4 quote tweets that just say something like, Dave's so washed. It's like, fuck, man. This is our fault.
Crazy. Yeah. People just, just want to disagree with people on wrestling opinions on the Twitter app, But, we're here. We're here to talk about the matches.
You haven't asked their ears, bro.
Get in there, man. Joe's so...
Ooh, it's the intro. Did you ask him, bro? No. Manny, how are you?
I'm fine, just...
Look at Manny. The people want to know how Manny is. They don't give a fuck about you and I. Look at him. Go ahead, Manny.
I didn't really do anything today. I just stayed home. I went outside once to pick up my sister. That's about it. And that's when I found the ski mask.
Are you going to comment on it beyond that? Like, because you told us where you found it. And I guess it's kind of incriminating, to be honest, but go ahead.
I found this ski mask in my car. Don't know how I got there. I just found it, and I decided to wear it on stream. Pretty much the gist of it.
I don't know how I feel about this still. I've heard it like 3 times now. Manny tried to like prove himself sort of innocent of the whole thing by saying, I found it in my own car. He's questionable to me. I don't know, man. I mean, I never know what Manny's up to, so I'm a little bit concerned. We'll see how it
I also found a Whataburger cinnamon roll there in my car too.
Now, do you know why that's there, or is that also there for like that's a mystery to you too?
Well, I think I had Whataburger yesterday, so I think that's where it came from.
I would think so, yeah.
Super chat off AO.
I thought I ate it. That's why I was shocked when I found it.
Yeah, supporting the guys. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's a good guy.
He's an EVP, right?
Yeah, he is.
No, I didn't eat the cinnamon roll. I'm saving it for dinner. No, I'm saving it for lunch. At lunch. I'm eating for it late during Raw.
Saving it for lunch.
Okay, one sec. Bam. 255019. I'm just going to stick to Bam. The Hat versus Backup has to be the feud of the year. How would you all fix WarGames? All in the WrestlePurists, keep all the great work. Make sure you give the Late Night Grin a watch. Yes, Late Night Grin, our brotherly brand, something like that.
Better than our marketing chief, won't worry about it.
Great channel. Subscribe to it.
The thing with WarGames is it probably doesn't need fixing for the audience that actually like watches and likes wrestling in 2022. It's just that a lot of us old heads got real mad on Saturday. And I don't think you can reasonably say it was like a flop or a miss for most of the audience. People seem to like it a lot. You know, people like different things, right? It isn't what I think of with WarGames, but I have to be honest and realistic in saying that there hasn't been a WarGames that I would deem like WarGames for like 2 decades. So at this point, I feel like you have to kind of concede and move on at some juncture. So I'm not I'm not sure it needs fixing. Manny, you all right, mate? Any update here, or are you just gonna let us adjust to this ourselves?
I'm Super Carlo.
You are indeed. Manny, how would you fix WarGames?
Shit sucks, man. I just wouldn't, maybe put some over baby faces instead of tables, just.
Yeah, that would help.
Road Dogg talks about not having. There's not enough over wrestlers in the world. Maybe he should check his backyard before he checks the world. It's just me.
I would say that it probably wasn't good that the top 2 baby faces on the show were the tables and like the countdown clock before someone came in, which is the only things the crowd's like. And then the next biggest baby faces were all heels. So yeah, I'm with you. That probably was an issue.
And then on top of that, in the most over heel was like Sami Zayn. He only got chair like 3 times. It was when he first came in and went quiet when he got into the ring. And then when Jay super kicked him, which, Patrick Beverly wouldn't let slide because he standed over him after. And then when he nut shotted KO.
Yeah, it was a rough crowd. I'm not saying that to defend the show, but like that crowd was dead almost immediately. Like, I was watching the Bianca Dakota back and forth, and like they were not making any noise for the first 5-minute portion. It's like, fuck, man, you've got a tough challenge ahead. Because look, WarGames matches need heat. Now you can debate and discuss why there was no heat. I think there's probably a reason to do that. And the build, especially with the women's match, I thought the build was very weak. But I definitely think they expected a hotter crowd for the main event, especially. But I don't know, Monty, what did you make of it? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Man, I also gotta say, man, payment on Walter Merchant, man. Come on, bro. You can't go in there and stink it up. Come on, man.
You can't even get that out. You can't even get that out.
No, actually,
the Lord didn't want you to get that out, bro. Just chill. Just chill on Sheamus, bro.
I gotta be honest, it hurt me. I can't.
It hurt me too, so just chill.
We gotta be honest, bro. Like we wanted Sheamus in there like hitting people, and he didn't really hit that many people.
No one did.
That spot when they're in the middle of the ring and they're just like hitting each other in the chest. Stupid, bro. That shit sucked, like, come on, man. There was no piss or vinegar in that match, bro. It was just like they went in there, fucking Pete Dunne, bro, working the fingers, bro. Learn a new limb to work, learn jiu-jitsu, learn something, bro. Come on. Everybody's come on, I can't. There's only so much I can see you snap somebody's finger and step on their elbow and then do that for like 20 minutes, bro. Come on, you're in a war game, throw some punches.
I thought it was a mistake. Like last week when we were previewing it, we did like we tried to like agent it, like who should come in first, second, all that stuff. And I knew Pete was going to start for the baby. And it's not even a knock on him, but it's like send someone in that people really care about, man. Like I know Sheamus is probably too old and Drew's got a bad neck, but like you need to get them immediately. It has to be someone they have an investment in. To the main roster audience, Butch is just the guy who, he's called Butch.
There's stories going around saying, Hunter loves WCW. I don't believe it. The way he puts out these products, I don't even think he watches WCW. Come on, man. You can't go in. It's disgusting. It's hateful. Cody's watching at home, them killing Dusty again while he's at home with his arm in a sling.
Okay, well, it's probably halted there, man.
He's out the sling now, bro. He's out the sling. So he's out the sling now, bro. We're getting close. Nearly match fit.
You need it. Anytime Monty and I talk wrestling, at some point or another, Monty will go, "Fuck, man, when's Cody back?" He needs it bad. Soon, bro. Couple more months.
It's bad when the best wrestler in both war games is Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, I don't think that's true, but I like it. I think it's funny enough that I completely agree.
Hey, man, I fell asleep during the men's war game. Woke up after a 4-hour nap and said, "Oh, shit, I have to finish watching this."
super long-winded. It was just waiting for the countdown and the pop, and then it was just like weapon after weapon after. There was no like intensity or like no like. Where's the heat? Where's the fire? Like where's the blood? Where's the
babyface advantage because you take away the hot tag. It's like it was all backwards.
They've done it for the men's war game. They've definitely done that just so Roman could come out last. They didn't even get that big of a pass, which was mad disappointing.
Cool. I did think that was pretty cool though. That part of the match, when it felt like Roman just fucking flattened everyone. I mean, I know it's kind of bad in a booking sense because he's so much superior to everyone, but it also sometimes you kind of need that because some of the other guys feel like they don't feel like main event guys, So I appreciated that part. I don't know. I thought it was there are a lot of ingredients to it that I think were good and valuable. I just didn't like the overall package for the reasons you just mentioned. But I thought there was a lack of intensity, and I thought the pacing was like a problem. Honestly, I thought it really dragged in the middle. But some people love it.
$10. Appreciate you as always. For the EVP, AO and Joe Hall, but team up that AO just teased. I need it. I will be the Omega. No, it will be the Omega versus Ospreay. No, Omega versus
Okada.
Let me start this all again. Bam, $10. for the EVP, AO and Joe Hall, but team up that AO just teased. I need it. It will be the Omega versus Okada of team ups. Hopefully, the Elite get their blood and guts next year.
See, the problem with that team up is that AO is like over, and we know what happens to the territory when Al Holbert comes in. The things change very quickly.
This is all in your own head.
People going hiatus.
Holbert thinks he kills territories, and I've never seen evidence of it.
Give me a couple more months, Chief. I just came back. It would be something, I will say. AO and I would get like half an hour. We'd be popping each other having fun, and then I'd be like, "Man, I'm excited for that Dax Harwood match," and that would be the end of it. It would all unravel,
Especially this Wednesday versus Danielson.
Yes,
Probably save that,
It would be a great time, though. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Maybe one day.
The Elite Blood and Guts is interesting. It's definitely one of those things where I'd be intrigued to see what they would make of that opportunity. Before anyone dismisses them in that sense, that cage match with the Lucha Bros was
heated.
That was actually heated, there was blood and it was passionate. So I wouldn't dismiss. I know a lot of people's instinctual reaction would probably be like, they'd do stunts, spots. I don't know, man. That cage match was pretty special. So I'd like to see that too.
I'd like to see how they can, how they'd adapt to it.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of where I'm at with the Elite, really, just kind of seeing how they would deal in certain situations. You know what I mean? Because it's so kind of creative and easy to just creative and versatile. Probably the best way to describe it, especially the young bucks. Them in war games could be. Mm-hmm. It would just need to be heated properly. But the thing is with books as well, they can just do a bunch of spots and just get the AEW audience fucking heated up anyway. So it's
it's a shame they didn't get one when do you remember when they did the angle before All Out last year where they locked the cage off?
Mm-hmm.
They kicked the shit out of the baby faces.
Mm-hmm.
If they'd have got a Blood and Guts match in that run, I think it would have been spectacular. At the height of that run. Now, I don't know who would have kind of rounded out the Elite team at that time, but there certainly was the baby faces. When they were feuding with King and Mox.
The Good Brothers.
Oh, the Good. Honestly, that probably would be what they would do, right? Because it's summer of 2021. So
big LG.
It could have been Adam Cole, right? But around that time,
big LG and I'd be down for it.
You throw a few uppercuts, run the razor, and take a knee in the corner, brother. That was one thing that did frustrate me about WarGames. Is this thing now where they have, because they want to catch the set spots perfectly. When you're not doing one of the spots, you have to just lay down so the cameras don't get and it's man. So one of the best things about WarGames is try to keep up with everything that's going on. Everyone's just punching each other and putting each other's face against the cages. None of that happened in this one. People come in, did their hot tag. They came in, did their hot tag, and then just died and laid on the floor waiting for their next big sequence. It was a bummer in that sense. But again, whatever.
The one thing that bothered me about both War Games was the women's one where Nikki Cross was just sitting on top of the cage. I said, so stupid. Just she's just laughing like that. I'm just like, come on, man. And then she did a shitty like dive, just.
You got to say that spot was very funny. Because we were laughing about it on the grin last night. Like Alexa tried to like wrangle everyone.
Yeah. I saw her. She was just like looking up the whole time. And like
Alexa was like, "Are we gonna fucking catch Nikki?" Or she was like turning people towards her. It was something. I don't know.
Bro, that match was just so insane. The women's one, because like I felt like nobody had chemistry. No, I felt like they showed up to the venue like, "Hey, you're all working in War Games." We're like, "Oh shit! Like, what do we do?" And then like, because everybody seemed off, nobody knew what they were doing, and just like, I don't know. And I actually felt like the match felt like it was just around.
Becky was good.
I thought Dakota was awesome in the match. The way some of the bumps she took, I thought she was great. But
I thought Dakota and Bianca were like so awkward in the beginning of the match. Like, I don't know.
Well, I don't think Dakota is like a silky smooth wrestler, but I just think she has really good instincts. Like I thought she was the best in the match in terms of like bringing a certain element of chaos. Like if she was going to a spot in the transition, she would like whack someone with like a weapon or something, just for the sake of like the energy of the match and the vibe of the match. But I thought she was really good. I thought Bianca was good, but had to do a lot of what I just mentioned in terms of just like laying and watching and waiting for the next thing, which is not a criticism of her. It's just the way it's produced. Exactly, yeah, it's just the way it's produced.
My favorite spot of the match was when I forgot who was they long darted like Alexa into the cage and she fell on the ladder and she looked so pissed off because the ladder was there.
She looked so mad. But when she nearly tripped on the wire and was like, "These motherfuckers, these pieces of shit." That was fun.
Real star, bro.
Yeah,
she can't hold it, bro. When she kind of got like that sassy frown that she does. But when something legitimate.
I thought. Look, I'll say this for once more. I thought it was fun, and I believe it was 39 minutes. It did not bore me or drag for me at all. Like I thought it was a fun time. So,
Theologica $4.99 said at least Lexa didn't get injured. That's a win in my book.
I think it's probably her response when she got out of there too.
I think my favorite spot was like when another thing Alexa did was I think Asuka kicked her. No, not Asuka. Who was it? Somebody kicked her, and she got so mad and just started like throwing forearms at everybody, like real stiff forearms. And I just said, "Threw my hands up." I said, "This fucking rules."
It lashes out, man. When her and EO like brawl, it's like one of the weirdest things that's become like an actual trend in wrestling. They just sort of hit each other. It's pretty cool. But yeah, EO also, I think, like, there's been a lot of talk about EO, like if she's dealing with injury and whatever. And I don't know the situation, but she does seem to be struggling for her rhythm to me. Once she gets going, she's okay. But like, I know everyone focused on the mess up, and that happens. It's no big deal. Like even the sequence she did with Asuka, where it was like the big standoff. She just looked like a half step off.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
I don't know. That obviously hurts the act because EO, like Bailey and Dakota are awesome, but EO is the super worker in the group, right? Like on paper. And I don't think she's been able to be there yet. Now, here's the thing. EO at 50%, 60% is still fucking, better than most wrestlers. It's EO. But I do think that was noticeable. And so, that was another thing that I think kind of worked against it. But I had fun with Women's War Games. I wish they give Mia Yim more like...
You mean anything at all?
Anything, bro. Yeah, like the babyface team was
brutal, bro.
The babyface team was four of the most decorated women in the company. And Mia Yim, and I don't mean that as a slam Mia Yim, she's just not been given those honors. She's more than capable of it. She's great. I love Mia Yim, but she's just, that's the way it is. Good. And it's like, not only that, she wasn't part of the angle. She was just added onto it. It's like, to me, from an agent perspective, you need to give Mia Yim some real spotlight. She got a hot tag, and I feel like after that she didn't get anything. And it's like, fuck, you have to give, like, Asuka and Alexa don't need shit, like they're over.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Even Bianca, like, she's fine. Becky came back, I get it. But Mia needed something, man. I thought they failed her in that regard. It's a shame, but maybe she'll get something good tonight. I don't know.
Well, we'll see. Darren Walker, £5. The next AEW Blood and Guts match needs to end the feud. JS versus Blackpool Combat Club feud still going on after Blood and Guts. Yeah. Ideally, it would blow up the feud, but
it's interesting. Hangman says it a lot, and I think he's actually forgotten. Like the first 2/3 of the first Blood and Guts match is like, I think the closest one of these modern matches has come to War Games to me. And I had a lot of praise for Blood and Guts too. It was different tonally. Very, very violent. It was awesome. But the first one, like, I don't know if you guys remember when FTR, there you go, we're in there early, and I remember that there was a lot of kind of brawling and bleeding. It was at Daly's place, which obviously hurt the heat a little bit. But I remember that being a really good time. It kind of fell apart in the third act. So
Yeah,
I think AEW's close with Blood and Guts. But
the
as Darren
MJF
said,
Jericho
the
isms.
extended portion.
Well, I think what AEW's done, like, I'm not gonna. I mean, it's kind of hard because Michael Kolish in commentary kept saying how dangerous the cage was, and never once did they show how dangerous the cage could be with just the weapons inside. Besides, like, blood, and if you compare to AEW's Blood and Guts, they actually showed multiple times how dangerous the cage can be.
Yeah.
And like,
I want to see people getting color when the face is grinded up the cage and shit. You know,
and look at Angelo Parker; it's gonna live forever. Him just getting hung upside down from the cage, just like.
Right.
Mm.
I think they're
Yeah, that
close.
was a great visual.
To Darren's point, it needs to end a feud, and I get why they love going up to the top because it's a great visual. But I think you need to probably let that go now. You've done it twice. People have fallen off of it twice. Like, there's no point doing it over and over. So next year I would ground it a little bit, literally, I guess. And I think they're close. I mean, obviously they're never going to leave you short on violence with Blood and Guts. I mean, this year's match was insane in that regard. So
it's so crazy because if you look at it, I think Claudio started it with Sami. And bro, Claudio hasn't even been in the company a week, and he hated the JS, and him and Sami like brawled for like a minute or two. Then Sami just started doing his high spots. I mean, like that's what I'm talking about. Just go in there, throw some punches, take some Europeans, and just take it home. Well, or not take it home, but for
one thing I will credit Sammy Guevara with. Hold tight, folks. While he's a high flyer, he's kind of like reckless and crazy in there. And sometimes he just kind of hits people with like fucking errant like kicks, and that makes for a fun. Like I remember in the first one, I want to say him and Dax started the first one, and they were like, it looked like they were just fighting each other in there because after a while, like, fuck man, it was loose. So in that sense, he's fun. Like I think it's important to know that I don't think WarGames shouldn't have any like high spots. Or like no, obviously this stuff you can do. Like I even thought the Usos, what are they called? The 1D they call it, right? They're 3D, 1D, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a perfect spot for WarGames. It wasn't like over the top or anything. It looked cool, It's fine. You can do loads of stuff like that. It's just it should more than the spots. It should feel like chaos in between the spots. That's the real key.
Yeah.
I'd rather there be a roof on it, but if you have someone jump off if you need to, but
you want it to be
in between, let it be chaos.
Yeah, like you said, make it real chaotic, and it's just like in kind of like one sentence, I'd say, off a modern example, you'd want it to be kind of like the energy of anarchy in the arena, in a cage, like that's what you want. Like there's chaos, like what is going on, like even like the botches and stuff. Like obviously you don't want a match to deliberately have botches, but you just want it to kind of be like messy and chaotic and like what the fuck is happening, like
anarchy in the arena. Felt like the production team was legitimately trying to keep up with what was going on, which is what it should feel like because it should feel organic and authentic. If it feels like I'm waiting for them to get the next spot ready, that's just not those words, right? That's different.
Okay, It's like how you were saying earlier. It's like there's all this shit going on in the cage, and it's like, oh shit, over there in the corner, someone's about to get pole drivered, and it's like the camera's rushing over there. Like, I want it to be like honestly, just a mess,
If you watch the best ones, one of the guys will pop you, and you'll start watching them. Like Arn's the best guy because Arn's in like 20 of them, and he lost them all because WarGames, brother. And like there'll be shit going on. You'll be like, fuck, look at Arn, and he'll be like, bleeding everywhere, punching Dusty Rhodes in the corner. Like, I love that shit. But I want to stress, if you liked WarGames, you're far from wrong.
It wasn't like bad. Well, I know Manny's just like ripped the shit out of it, but it's not like it was like mechanically like bad, No. I don't know, man. It wasn't. Yeah, like me and Joe were on the show last week, and I think it might have even been on one of the late night green shows where we was like, "This is it, bro."
Yeah, I was so excited. Yeah. It's my fault, honestly. We're being real. I should not have got that excited for a fucking 2022.
I'm with you.
Bro, I was so excited for it too, and then just being at work, seeing everybody like talk about it in Discord or in the chat saying this match was not good at all, and then being like disappointed, and then watching it, getting my hopes up. Just like it sucked. I went 3.5 on it. Just brutal.
Yeah. Bam, another super chat. God bless. Are we going to get a KO Roman feud now? Apparently so, but apparently, Sean put out that report earlier about Roman was unhappy with a spot or something that happened in the WarGames match. It's like people have ran with that now, and apparently, you know what I mean. Like I said, people have run with it. It did kind of seem like nothing. It seemed like Sean kind of went out of his way in the report to kind of reiterate like it wasn't like some big deal that got physical or anything. Do you know what I mean? Like it seemed like Roman kind of got a bit big stuff. You know what I mean?
Is it a slap? That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, it's because it was unplanned. Where he got mad because it was unplanned, and then KO just slapped him across the face. He can't handle physicality, and then he just got mad that he popped his eardrum.
That was an incredible sense. Can't handle physicality. Got mad that it popped his eardrum. What a pussy!
If he really cared about this business, he would have bladed his ear, just like Jericho bladed his chest.
That'd have been quite a good idea.
That was a crazy time.
Yeah,
Jericho issue, man. But yeah, WarGames. It wasn't like horrible, but it was definitely the opposite of what like we were kind of like dreaming about this time last week. Especially when you look at the lineups and it's just like on the babyface side for the men's, it was just kind of like 3 of the best brawlers you could ask for, and Sheamus, Drew, and KO. Obviously, Reach is a bunch of fun and he's just a meathead, and Butch, he's a tidy wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you can get excited about that, man. Just kind of the spectacle of Bloodline in WarGames, just something to look forward to, especially Roman, obviously. Then you had the wrinkle with Sami and KO and Jay, and you know what I mean? You had all these things going into it, and like, yeah, they did progress the storyline and they've done that well, but it's kind of like it wasn't WarGames, so I don't know. And even on the women's side, it was just kind of like, you were just waiting for spot to spot. It was just, yeah.
Monty, can you and I settle something right now on the air? About 4 months ago, I asked you as the resident NXT 2.0.
No, I didn't go in.
I asked you as the resident NXT 2.0 expert. I said, "Hey, Monty, I've watched a little bit of footage. This Solo Sikoa's got something. Huh? What a guy! This looks like a good talent to me." If you could only have seen the response I got, just an absolute dismissal, questioned my eye, wondered what I'd watched. He was so mad about it. And then, in private, I got an apology on Saturday night. I would now like us to take this conflict to the airwaves of WrestlePurists worldwide and just, beyond any doubt, confirm the conclusion that we have reached here. Monty, please go ahead.
Joe said the apology must be louder than the disrespect.
Factual. Go ahead, Monty.
Solo Sikoa. He's all right.
Now, hold on. Was he or was he not kind of the highlight of this? They slammed.
I told you what I was going to say. He's got better. He's got better.
Yeah, you did tell me you'd say that. You piece of shit. It's always been there, brother. You got to believe. You got to look beyond what you're seeing right now.
No, the thing is as well, look, he had when you was first putting him over and stuff, and you done bro, this guy had done a fucking breakdown of Grayson Waller and Solo Sikoa for a whole podcast.
40 minutes.
So
right?
when you was in that phase with it, I was just kind of I could see the image and stuff, and that was really what you was kind of zoning in on, the aura and stuff that he has. But you were just I was still waiting for it to click. Then when it really clicked for me, it was kind of he's had some big wins on TV and stuff, and it's just the way that he was introduced at when was it in Saudi in the Logan Paul match, when he got a full entrance in the middle of a match and he came out like Samoa Joe. Then obviously you just said, man, he was probably one of the better wrestlers in the men's WarGames match, to be honest.
Mostly on just presentation, he just felt like a monster. But in all seriousness, a lot of the things that he was missing, he is actually fixed on the main roster. His presentation is just way better. the way he carries himself is way less like try hard now, which was something I talked about with you then. But he's really good at like, you know, when they're doing those big segments together. I love how he's unmoved and unfazed, because to him, he's just waiting for Roman's next instruction, right? He's a great contrast to the Usos in that regard, who are like so animated in their own ways. Solo is just straight ahead, ready to kill. Speaking of such, quickly before we get to the super chat, Jey Uso is just great. I think he's awesome. I loved his performance on Saturday. He kept going back to selling his hand, which I thought was admirable considering the match went on for 4 years. It wasn't that long, I'm just playing. But no, I think Jey Uso is fucking awesome. So anyway, let's get to it. Money, my bad.
I think he's just a great fucking TV wrestler. He's just a great,
he's really good.
You know, he's just he's just a great character. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I want them to have a conclusion for their characters. Like, you know, we all fantasy book Kevin and Sami winning the belts. Obviously do that. But like, I think we should also, we're booking territory, but like, I think it'd be nice if they give them a conclusion, because lest we forget, Jey fought Roman 2 years ago, you know, and then like, in a lot of ways, everything he does is purely as a result of how that played out, right? Now, I don't know the storylines well. I've seen some great threads and stuff about it, and I'm not educated, but my read on it is, it would be nice if the actual conclusion to this was those guys realizing that Roman's the real piece of, you know, they realize Roman's the real piece of shit all along, kind of thing, rather than just being the henchman. Because, frankly, I think their performance, but especially Jay's performance, is better than just being a henchman. Like, he's too pivotal. Let's give him a conclusion in the end too. But nonetheless,
it's tough though, because like, people could argue that like, them being unified champions and like, being the fucking team of their generation is like their, you know, their like payoff. But in terms of like the bloodline, it isn't quite. Do you know, like there's always going to be some meat left on it. But yeah, Bam super chat $2. Let's get the big like spot for the honourable EVP AO. He's not even honourable EVP anymore, isn't he? EVP,
you know? Yeah.
Confirmed. He literally runs the Discord. Like, I don't even have the password to it, so you know.
When are you going to make like a when are you going to make like a meet the team page on WrestlePurists, and we have like corporate images on there, you know?
You know, like kind of every corporate page has like that about us. It's like, you know,
all of us at a desk.
One of my biggest complaints about the Discord is that everybody comes to my page and just judges it. Just leave it alone. Don't worry about what's going on my channel.
Well, you know, you've got your unique channel where you talk your ideas.
What kind of ideas are we talking about here, Manny? Man, have you been watching the Joe Rogan Experience again?
No, I just like the most recent video I just tweeted everybody needs to watch was the Quentin Tarantino interview.
Oh yeah,
and then how to make birria tacos.
I watched the Tom Segura one. I watched it. It was fun.
It was good, right?
Quentin, yeah, he just goes, man.
Bro,
he just goes.
On Sunday when I went down the Quentin Tarantino rabbit hole, by the time it was like Sunday night and I got out of work, I said I need to watch every movie now. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna push back all my wrestling that I need to watch, and I'm just gonna watch all 9 movies.
Okay, good. Because what you actually said then was, I'm gonna watch every movie now, and I was like, hold on, what? just every film of note in the history of cinema. But I get you, Tarantino films.
So, yeah. I've only seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which rules.
Oh yes, awesome.
I've seen Django. I've seen Pulp Fiction when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. And I've seen parts and clips of Inglourious Bastards.
I think I know you well enough to say with confidence almost all of his films will pop you.
Oh yeah, I like the violence.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was rough, bro.
Well, we just talked about films.
Thought I was going down. Could you imagine I went down middle of a fucking WrestlePurists World War, and you couldn't end the broadcast either?
Imagine the fucking super chats we'd get.
But speaking of super chats, yeah, man, let's get the likes, subscribes, super chats. Let's get it all up. You know, we've got nearly 100 people in here, so if we can get a few likes in, please like the video. We appreciate it. Andrew the Giant, £5 super chat. I woke up my wife in the other room. I was popping so much at the end of the WarGames match. I co-signed with Joe. Roman popping at how awesome Solo was a part.
Really cool dynamic. Because he doesn't give Roman any trouble. He just kills guys, you know?
Yeah.
And Solo's like, the way he portrays it is perfect because he's not doing like mean faces. He's literally just looking straight ahead like a killer, which is something he struggled with in NXT. Like, if you are crazy enough to watch my scouting report, one of the things I said was Solo looks way too tough. He doesn't have to act tough. You know, he doesn't have to growl or like froth at the mouth. Like, bro, he looks like he'd kill someone. You know, like this dude, he's dressed like Mark Hunt and he's looking out there like he's in the K1. Yeah, he's a fun wrestler to watch for sure. I like that stuff a lot.
Joe, actually, I did watch Kill Bill. I forgot to mention that.
There you go.
You know, it's called I won't say one cool thing, not one cool thing. One funny thing about theater games that popped me was when Roman was sitting down on some chair, and like it was I forgot who. I think what are the Usos' names again?
Jimmy went to go in and he stopped. It was Jimmy.
Yeah, he stopped him, and then like Paul Heyman holding both belts, like all shocked and everything. I popped so.
Did you see the backstage segments they did?
No.
So they did these segments throughout the night. They did two of them where like Roman had to have like a meeting with Sami. But in both segments, like Paul is just sitting behind Roman, like just staring like this. And it's like he's the only guy who could get away with it without anyone even dunking because it's so Paul Heyman, you just have to accept it. Like this is of course how he would portray this character. Like when Roman gives him the gimmick, he like kisses it. It's so ridiculous, man. I couldn't believe they didn't mention like he was, you know, he literally managed the Usos' dad, right, in '89.
They did mention. They didn't know. They did mention it on commentary.
No, they did mention.
Yeah, they did. They mentioned.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because in 1989 he managed. I guess that would be destroying law for them, right? It'd be confusing. Rikishi was in WCW. It'd be too much. Fair. But I like the Sting Squadron Dangerous Alliance shout anyway. It was cool. Manny, did you watch Finn Balor and AJ Styles?
Oh, come on, I have too much respect for myself. No, I didn't watch
that.
Well,
firstly, that's a lie. You watched the Frankie Kazarian match, went 32 minutes just to dunk on me, so that's not true at all. I want to know from the chat, give me like a star rating gauge on this because I like this match quite a lot. I've seen no discussion of it since Saturday night.
Joe, guess what? What do you think WrestlePurists give it?
3.25. 3.5. I give it 3 3/4.
3.5. I'll give it 3 3/4 as well.
I was really well wrestled. The heat was obviously
solid wrestling, bro. It was just,
Dave's tweet. Well worked match between two pros. Factual.
That's what it was. No?
You could have tweeted that before they had it, man. It's good. I liked it. But
yeah, I know the highest rated match from the Survivor Series was that triple threat, right?
Yeah.
Explain it to me. How good was it? I'm not gonna go watch it, but if someone
I didn't even like it that much, so you're probably in the wrong stream for that. I genuinely didn't like even not for our group chat and stuff. It's like I was low on it, like
Yeah.
I was talking to Backup Hagman about it. I think yesterday, and he was like, "He thinks I'm crazy." So,
he got crazy.
He did. Like even like I think we give it 4 stars. Dave will probably give it like 4.25 or something. If I had to give a guess. Cage match. Like Manny said, it was the highest rated match on the show. It was a well-up match. It just wasn't. I don't know, man. It just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
By the way, I wasn't going off cage match. I was going by the prestigious WrestlePurists.
That's what we love to see. The prestigious WrestlePurists award. Not even the awards, the weekly ratings. Go check them out.
Last night, Monty, when you asked me to rate some matches, and I was like, Ricky the Dragon, the Steamboat, and Monty replied with, "This isn't even on cage match." I've never felt more like a loser in all my life.
I couldn't find it. Actually, what the name of the show was, you told me, and I couldn't find it, bro. Like, it probably is on cage match because, like, of course,
it's on there today. It's got like 1 rating. It's got a 9.
But
I give it 12.
You think Ricky can still go like maybe like 10 minutes.
How did he look, Joe? I actually haven't even asked
like
you.
genuinely, it was just lovely. I'm being sincere. It was just wonderful because he knew exactly what he could and couldn't do. And if you read his interviews leading up to it, he told you what he was going to do, which was his exact words, I think, were, I'm going to sprinkle some Ricky the Dragon Steamboat magic over it and let the guys do their thing. So he did a quick shine early with the arm drag, which looked beautiful.
Yeah, of course.
Then they cut him off and he sold the way Ricky always sold. And they got a headlock and he did the shit with with his fingers crinkle and all that shit. And he reaches out to the people. And they came up because obviously they're there to see Ricky. So it was like this great atmosphere. He got out of there. Like he knew exactly. And he literally just wrestled like Ricky Steamboat for one last time because his game is that smooth that he can still do it that way. Like, he looked great. It was really cool. I totally get why I didn't get like a lot of buzz because there's no spectacle to it because everyone knew Ricky probably wouldn't embarrass himself, right? Let's be real. Not only is Ric Flair a bigger draw, a lot of people watched that because they knew Rick was like absolutely a shell of a shell, right? He couldn't do anything. Ricky was never going to do that, so he looked great. It was really, really cool, man. Very, very cool.
Well, to be fair, it did get buzz when the national treasure Nick Aldis came out.
A different kind of buzz, yes. I like Nick Aldis.
I saw him come out. I said, "Oh man, this boy's headed to the fleet. This is what's happening."
To me, he's a good example of someone who will be perfectly fine if he's put in the right role. But everyone is terrified because for the last 4 years he's been like the face of a brand. So that's all you can like imagine. Like if they just put him in like a faction on Ring of Honor, he'll be
imagine
fine.
him. Imagine him walking around holding the Ring of Honor title.
Well, see, now you say you get yourself in trouble. The one thing that is funny about Nick Aldis is like all of the old school wrestlers think he's like the best worker in the business. They all, I guess because he kind of does the thing where he like pays homage, we'll say it politely, to the champions of yesteryear. Like when you hear the old guys talk about him, they're like, well, obviously he's got a WWE. Like the Teddy Long quote, I think you sent it to me. Teddy Long was like, well, it's obvious what you do. Nick Aldis beats Roman Reigns and has a feud with Cody Rhodes. It goes without saying, So, yeah, there you go.
Incredible. Fucking love Teddy Long.
Yeah. He was on that show, by the way. He was the special guest commissioner.
So just
Ron Simmons was on it.
It seems like a real wrestling show that I'm actually going to watch.
It was fun, yeah.
It's not one of the ones where I just lie and say I'm going to catch up with it. Briscoes are on it.
Bro, they wrestled the Rock and Roll Express. And this is a spoiler for anyone who hasn't seen it because it's incredible. They do a chair spot. I have never seen this before. The chair, Jay's head went through the chair. Like the chair just had a hole in it. And you could tell, like, he was genuine, as tough as that dude is, he was panicked. He was like around his neck. So then Mark was trying to pull it off. It was like a whole ordeal. And Hoot Gibson was trying to fucking see him with the ref. Someone saved Jay Briscoe's life in there. It was quite the scary.
I've been in that situation before.
I mean, I've been in this many. That show was sold in like a bundle. I mentioned this to you when you were like, you got that, and then you got the previous events with FTR versus the Rock and Roll Express and FTR versus Brock and Pillman with Bret Hart in their corner. And this Bret Hart deal, I get why everyone rolls their eyes at it. I understand it, but fuck. Watching Bret manage them and just like take a seat at ringside and just like not even like pretend to work it, just popping, just enjoying them wrestle,
Mm-hmm.
It was a cool deal. That was about the most fun I had watching wrestling this weekend, honestly. I was watching that shit. Real graps, brother.
It sounds like something, like it's genuinely something that I'll probably go and seek out. So, just off that Briscoe spot and Ricky, making me feel warm inside again,
He's the best, man.
Um,
If you ever like hear nerds like myself talk about baby faces and how they should wrestle, I know we're all fucking boring, and it used to be better shit is so lame, but like just watch like a couple Ricky Steamboat matches, Like he's not gonna bore you because he works like a high pace, but just watch the way that dude did it. Like he's probably the best in-ring babyface ever, I think.
He's definitely in the conversation.
Yeah,
100%.
Never watch Ricky Steamboat versus Mil Mascaras from All Japan. Don't watch that match.
Okay, don't watch that.
Don't watch
I'm
that
never
match.
getting-
You're probably not going to come across.
Yeah. Folks, do not watch that one. All right.
It
Now,
was,
one of the
I'm
very
never-
famous ones you can watch.
I'm never getting that 20 minutes back.
That happens, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just keep it safe. Watch a Flair match or something. You know.
Yeah, Chi-Town Rumble's like 20 minutes. It's a blast.
Bam, $5. A question I meant to ask Israel yesterday: what is WWE doing with Seth? I know he's a company man, but I was honestly surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he left.
Well, I'll send that question to Esther, and we'll let you know what she says.
Israel will just go off on. Well, she done it last night. You know, she kind of got into the whole like Seth stuff, and you know, if you haven't watched it yet, the WrestlePurists Divas podcast, episode 3. Israel addressed Triple H. If you go to our channel and look at the thumbnail, you'll kind of get the vibe that she was going for. Yeah, the Seth thing is really weird because it's like, as Israel was saying yesterday, it's like you have Austin Theory fail to cash in on Seth. Then I get that they want to do this whole like redemption arc, and Theory's serious now, and he's dropped the phone gimmick, and you know what I mean. He's serious and he's more intense and stuff now, and he's more like despicable and whatever. But like, bro, he beat like Dolph Ziggler on TV, and now he's beating Seth like on pay-per-view. Like, it's like give it a chance. You know what I mean? Like actually like get him over, because they're just repackaging and pretty much doing what they've done with what Vince was doing with him, where it's just kind of like you're telling us that he's, you know, the you know, this redeemed heel when he was like a joke like 3 weeks ago or whenever it was. It's like I said, I just think they probably should give it a bit more time between, like, you know, he like I said, he changed his attitude, he gave his mission statement, and you know, like a week or two later, he's already the champ again. It's already like, you know, and people aren't into it, man. Like, they're just not. Like, he gets the wrong kind of heat, like, you know.
I think sometimes, you know, it's you could be kind of a victim of being too over. And I know it sounds like I'm doing a bit, but I think Seth suffers from the thing where they know they can always heat him up. And like, I'm not like a Seth, you know, I'm not coming for a person. I'm just, look, from what I can see, every time I watch the shows, he's super over. And there are a lot of guys on the show who aren't super over. And sometimes the way the booker handles that is he uses the guy super over to try and help out the other guys, which is obviously very frustrating and, you know, not really fair. But I think that's probably what's happening with Seth, right? I mean, from when I watch the show, Seth is like basically the top babyface on Raw. If he's a babyface, but the reaction he gets, you know, the crowd loves to sing the song and they love his shtick. And I think sometimes it's like the booker sees it as Seth's fine, but worry about Seth later. Let's get these guys over. And that can be really frustrating as a fan because it's like, fuck, but when's Seth's turn? You know? Like,
well, that's the thing with Seth's fans this year, you know.
Yeah.
We touched on it last week when we was making our predictions. I think all of us predicted for Seth to win. Even though, like, I know a lot of people saying, oh, it made sense and stuff for Fury to win because obviously, like I said, they were doing this whole like redemption thing and he's more serious and stuff now. But like I said, it kind of would have made more sense for me to like give it a bit more time.
Absolutely.
But like with Seth, is like we talked about like how we, you know, obviously he like, lost the feud with Edge. You know, he obviously is 3-0 down to Cody Rhodes. Like 2 big feuds where he, you know, he got a lot of critical praise. You know, he got a lot of critical praise and he put in like a lot of hard work, and you know he ate a lot of pins and he was staying at the lights a lot during those months and stuff. And the way that it was rumored, floated around to me, was that like the United States title was kind of Seth being given like a ball to like run with. So I was expecting Seth to have like a 200-day United States title reign or something. But you know, he had it for a few weeks and he's dropping it to Theory. Granted, he might win it back. I don't know, you know. But like, but like what the super chat says, like, what are we doing with Seth, man? You know?
Yeah, because I mean, even the US belt, you know, for a guy who's achieved what he's achieved, it's not like it's, you know. So it's a weird situation. To the end of that comment about surprised he left, I legitimately think, like, under Vince, I think that was a lot more possible than people will ever realize, because Seth portrayed himself a certain way publicly. We all see with Triple H. The instinctual reaction when Triple H got power was Seth's going to be like golden. Yet to take place, clearly, as we're talking about now. I'm not going to do the thing like fans. I don't want to be the guy who's like, be patient. Like, fuck that. You're not patient. You're a wrestling fan. Why do we have to be patient? You know, just watch the show. But I would say WrestleMania will be the biggest tell, right? Because based on his performance and his popularity, Seth should be in one of the main matches at WrestleMania. If he's in some kind of bullshit multi-man for a title, or he's in a Money in the Bank ladder match or whatever, I think it's, it would be kind of insane considering how
it's time for Israel to write a letter.
Israel can write the letter today, right? I encourage people to react to this shit. Like I don't think anyone has to be like patient and cynical. Like, I think I get why it's frustrating. That's my personal marker is like, let's see what he does at Mania. But if you're mad at it, fuck, I get it. He lost the belt for like 2 weeks. What the fuck? Like I totally understand it. There's nothing worse than when you're a frustrated fan and people are like, actually, bro, someone would tweet like, could Eddie Kingston be on the television show? Actually, he lost Ethan Page.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's tough. Let's floor through some of these super chats. AO $2. Join the WrestlePurists Discord. Link is in the description. Yes, it is. There was an expired link in the description, but I've updated it now. So if you do go to click on it to join the Discord and it says that it's expired, if you refresh the page for the video, it will obviously put the new link and you can get to it like that. Bam, then reimbursed. AO super chat. God bless. Bam's been the MVP. He's been the WrestlePurists live chatter of the week,
Mm-hmm.
Dio Loki 199. AJ Finn, he found that very boring.
Yeah. A lot of people did work together.
If Fujinami Tanner is happening, then do Tanner Ricky. Could you imagine? Like, Tanner and Ricky just fucking having a blast out there.
Yeah. I definitely think Ricky's, you need to hide him in the tags, but them two like just trading arm drags for like a minute.
Yeah, you hide him in a tag, you give him like a nice worker, You do you do like Dax and Okada, when he was
that match in their prime. I mean, it's kind of a weird one because there's so much crossover that like they'd be kind of doing the same thing. But them two having a babyface match in their primes, like high tempo, hitting the ropes hard, drop down tackle, headlock takeover, arm drag.
People.
Someone goes up for a crossbody, roll over, 1-2, kick out.
Someone would definitely be selling a limb.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Have you ever heard Ricky talk like when Ricky works indie shows as like a guest and sign autographs, and the guys will be like, what do we do, Ricky? He just goes, he's talking to his part. He's like, I just say to guys, you pick a body part. And then the other guy picks another body part. And no matter what, you can do whatever spots you want in between, just then go back to the body part. He goes, and the people will understand. I'm like, bless Ricky. Like, there's probably like 200 people there, like fucking, they probably don't. The crowd's probably just there to see like, Poison Rana.
Flips and
Ricky's like, take the arm. Give me a little twist. You'll be all right. But yeah, Ricky's the man.
Yeah. Bam, $2. Manny, who's the top luchador right now for you?
I don't really watch a lot of modern lucha, so maybe Vikingo or like Blue Panther's still alive, so maybe Blue Panther.
Because any luchador, they don't have to be in AAA, CMLL, or they can be anywhere.
Yeah.
No, I know. Those are the first two because I mean, Roosh is awesome, but I'm not gonna say Roosh. Phoenix Rule. Oh,
Penta.
I mean, they're on TV every week. I was trying to think of something like,
It feels like Bandito would be your actual pick, right?
Yeah, if I'm being, it's Bandito. Because I prefer Bandito style wrestling over Vikingo. Where it's just like...
Yeah.
Vikingo's not...
Bandito's got a much more well-rounded game.
Yeah, right? Like, Vikingos still need, like... I wish he was a bit more polished. Like, he can do all the fucking insanely impossible hard stuff, but it's just like the bit in between and stuff. It's just sometimes I just find him a bit rough around the edges. Well, very rough around the edges, you know.
The thing is, people don't know. Like, there's like also two types of lucha. Like, there's lucha everybody thinks it is, like the high flying Rey Mysterio, Vikingo stuff, and there's also like the technical, hard hitting mat wrestling. Semi kind of is what Blue Panther and I would say what Bandito does kind of. Yeah. So, you know, I prefer that kind of. I prefer CMLL style of lucha compared to AAA's indie style of lucha.
My favorite lucha is when you know, like a mass versus mass match. Like when I just think of like, you know, Villano and fucking Penta bleeding all over each other, throwing punches, like that sort of like that's what I love about lucha. Like, yeah, the flips and stuff, like it's very extravagant and amazing and impressive. I just love those heated brawls when people are ripping the mask and bleeding all over each other, and like, I just fucking love that shit, man.
You know, I also recommend Atlantis Jr. versus Stuka Jr. I have his match coming in tomorrow. Like Stuka Jr., bro, that match was awesome. It isn't get talked about it much, but if I remember, there wasn't blood in the match, but it was just like a hard hitting technical match where Stuka lost his mask. And yes, I see a lot of the comments saying that Andrade did tear his he had surgery for his
pec. He posted it on Insta.
And an all-time tweet. He said, "Thanks God, I could and wanted to finish my match. I kept working because I love the business, but we know many people do not value your effort. These days off, I took the opportunity to go see the doctor."
Wow.
He really like it's a
weird situation.
I just love it, you know.
he just took the shot too. It's so awesome.
He's like, I don't know, bro. Like, he's so like, I don't want to say like crazy because that's not at all like the right word for it. But he's so like
crazy.
Like, he just don't give a fuck, you know. Like he just. Like he does not respect Antonio Khan, you know.
It's like
it's crazy.
The narrative. I hate using that word on wrestling podcasts now. The narrative around him in AEW did a complete 180 because remember at one point the story was like, actually his whole family is going to work there. Do you remember when that was like a thing? That was like a common perception. Was like, not only is he enjoying it there, the belief was like everyone's going to be there, like everyone he's friends with, you know. It's like that sure shifted quick, didn't it? Like, fuck,
tell me
man.
about it.
It's a phone call away from changing. It's kind of crazy.
It's, you know, I know that we can obviously focus on like the big story of like, I mean, I'm not saying focus because we haven't even spoke about it, but I guess like most people talk about like, you know, like the CM Punk Elite backstage stuff, and it's like, how was that going on for so long, for so many months, and to the point where it could blow up in front of Tony Khan's face, literally at that media scrum. The Andrade one as well, like at the time, even though there was quite a lot of spotlight on it, I just feel like it was just fucking insane. Andrade literally said like he was going to come into work and smack this guy up.
Yeah,
he went into work.
That was an all-time night on the Grin. We were ready to do it live. Yeah, it was like breaking news, and everybody was refreshing their tweets, and I was like, oh man, Andrade must have fucked this dude up, and then realizing no, it was the other way around. Like
he wrestled.
Sami wrestled. I'm just like, man, I guess he didn't fuck him up, like to the point where he was on TV. I don't know. It was a crazy night.
If there was footage of that fight, it would be like the most disappointing, underwhelming thing ever. Like, you know that, right? Like one fucking strike was thrown, and everyone probably leapt in and pulled apart. Like, you know, it's wrestling.
And then I remember the TMZ report came out, and then they had to recant everything they said because like, oh no, it was just one side of the story, and then. Everybody's trying to figure out whose side it was, and I'm like, bro, it's Andrade's side.
One of my favorite things about that whole deal was like Ric Flair on his podcast like the next week, and he was like, "You don't want to mess with Manny, brother. He's an animal."
He said that previously. But do you remember that clip when he picked him as his opponent, and he was like, "It's the same thing I said to him when he married Ashley."
Yeah,
tough. You can fight. Comes from tough, he's talking about like he's fucking like a pit bull. It's like, bro, like you're married to your daughter, man. Like, chill out a little bit. He was like, that was the only thing he cared about. He was like, he's a tough kid.
It does pop me how like Ric Flair, he does like, he loves manner,
It's so funny. Like he's talking about her like man, like who's gonna come after Charlotte? Like, why are you talking and like talking about like Manny's gonna do something for him and all that? It was just insane.
My favorite bit is him like every month there'll just be a headline.
It's being a lot.
It's fun. Because we clipped that for our Manny, right? That's what we did with it. We tried to anyway. My favorite Flair podcast bit is like every month one story will break of like Ric Flair not convinced Bryan Danielson's a great wrestler, and he'll lead with like, I'm not saying he's not good, but he's a good little worker. And he'll like dismiss him in this like really obnoxious, arrogant way. The last time he did it, Conrad was like arguing with him about it. And then Rick brought AJ up and Conrad explained he thinks Bryan's better than AJ, and Rick was fucking like disgusted by this. Like couldn't even cope with it, like come on.
Is this a weekly podcast?
Yeah, they still, since he left, since Mark Madden and actually for the bar, he just went back.
Really, I feel like if it's a weekly, I feel like there'd be like crazy quotes every week. Is it not like?
Well, I think Monty could probably.
It flies under the radar, to be honest. Like, he definitely does have stuff quotable, but it's like a lot of it's not even like relevant to anything that's going on. My favorite bit that he does is that he'll always, because of the whole like.
Well, send those quotes to me and I'll make them relevant. I'll just find ways to do them. One of my favorite bits that he does is the whole like the man thing that he had going on with Becky Lynch and that. Mm-hmm. Like, now he just like does all these like snide little shots at Becky, And Ben Dixon, he tore his pec while wrestling the Elite.
He's fuck. The Becky thing is like, what the fuck, man? Like, what? How is no one close to it being like, bro? Like, this is not a good look for you. Like PR, just purely in terms of how it comes across. I mean, firstly, obviously, the actual conflict itself is like one of the most ridiculous things ever. But beyond that, it's like how this looks so pathetic. How does no one tell him that? I guess you can't tell him that, right? He does what he wants.
It's fucking Ric Flair. Yeah, that's the thing.
He ain't gonna listen, is he?
You guys think WrestlePurists can interview Ric Flair? I feel like it's kind of easy to get.
I think we could maybe put it off on there.
We don't need to do that.
Why?
What are we going to ask him, bro? Fucking Feinstein interviewed that guy 12 years ago. Who needs us to talk to him,
I feel like you can talk to him about anything. Just be like, how was your day? And you just go off on a huge day, like a huge rant. Just let him talk.
But this is the thing. The fact that we all just agreed we could get an interview with him easily is why we don't need to get an interview with him. Because we know he'll do an interview with anyone. As I just alluded to in my point a moment ago. Like, what topic is there possibly you could think of? I'd love to know what Ric Flair thinks about this. Like, come on, bro. He gives his opinion on everything.
No, I think the best way to do it is
on the fucking opening of WWE shows, whether he's in it or not. I don't know, man. I mean, now Adrian's point about him being on Purists, that's different. Now that could be a scene. That's different.
Even just like Manny interviewing him, like this is what I mean. This is sort of like this is kind of like the sort of stuff that we this sort of stuff that like we usually say after the podcast. But like, this is what I'm saying with like just like wrestling content in general. Like all the interviews are so cookie cutter and boring. Like, why can't Manny just ask Ric Flair like dumb questions, bro? Like Manny questions. You know what I mean? Like just like.
Well,
I don't even know. Do you know
if
what
I want
mean?
to do that, I want to be in like in person with them and sit like across them, like a dark
yeah.
room with a light on.
I think there are wrestlers we could do that with that it would be really funny. I'm not convinced Ric Flair would be one of them.
I want Ric Flair body slamming. I want to see what that looks like.
Pop. But yeah, man, like just people just jumping onto Unpurists and stuff like that. Like, obviously, people who would make sense, and just like even like people jumping on the Thursdays with us and just doing like fucking. I don't know, like none of these interviewers have like real personality to them anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like how like when Sean Oliver was rolling, like for better or for worse, like people loved them or hated them. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. At least they had like their own flavor to them.
Sean Oliver's great, yeah.
Even if it was just like old, out of touch people shooting and calling everyone pricks and whores, like it was, it had its own, flavor.
Yeah, it's just different. Like it's, I think there are probably interviews I say this now. Nick Aldis once quote tweet dunked me. He wasn't mad necessarily at me. I tweeted that Dustin Rhodes should win the NWA World title, and about 40 people replied to me saying Nick Aldis won't put him over. And understandably, Nick was very mad about this, and it was my tweet that was the victim here. But I would say we would have a hell of a time. Monty, let's make it happen. Let's talk National Wrestling Alliance with Nick Aldis.
Oh, you're right. I could probably ask Flair about it.
Bro. 2023, many wrestlers are going to receive some sort of contact.
10 pounds of grins.
You know.
Oh,
we're gonna be reaching out. We're gonna be trying to do these interviews. We've only gone to,
Nick Aldis watches an episode of Dynamite with Manny and I. Sits there miserable the whole time while we pop.
But yeah, we're an hour in. We should probably talk about.
Man, yeah, I can ask Flair about Kyrie's if he knows anything about Pirates too, since they know each other.
So this is the stuff we need. But anyway, we spoke about WarGames and the controversies of it. We've gone a bit off the rails as well, speaking about Flair and stuff. But I want to talk about Regal.
Good enough.
Talk about Regal.
My good friend Regal.
So like the William Regal thing was really weird because obviously, he's just recently turned his back on John Moxley in the world title match of Full Gear. Siding with MJF, sliding in the brass knuckles, giving MJF the win. Obviously he came out on Dynamite last week and Moxley told him, yo, get out of here. Don't ever want to see you again. Don't ever come back, blah, blah, blah. Then, Twitter kind of just ran with it. And it was like, well, he's only got a year left on his contract. And, this is how they've wrote him off. And, even though it's like a few months away, this is just how they've wrote him off because there's still time for it, blah, blah, blah. Again, it was I'm sure someone even put it out there, but it was only a 1 year deal. And, obviously a lot of people speculated about him going back to WWE with obviously Triple H in charge now and all that kind of stuff. And obviously we all know that Triple H and Regal have been close for like a number of years now. Well, that's an understatement. So like people were kind of like connecting the dots without like much, without many. I hate our live chat, man. Everyone was kind of like making their assumptions and stuff, and but it came out this morning that apparently Regal has a 3-year contract with AEW, so it doesn't look like he's going anywhere anytime soon. So, it's interesting how the narrative has quickly been put out.
I can't believe that rumor started by somebody that nobody ever believes, and then everybody believed him on the Regal thing and just ran with it for like almost a week until Dave made a mistake on how long his contract was,
right?
And had to recorrect it
because Dave originally said it was a year, right? And then
I think Tony or somebody hit him up and was like, "Nah, bro, it's 3 years."
Well, when Manny and I were watching Dynamite live, neither of us took the opening segment that way, like at all, right? And then a lot of people did, and that's fine. Maybe they were right. I don't know, but. The only thing I'll say is the Triple H tweet about like it wouldn't be the same without, and it was a clip of Regal. Then I was like, well, fuck, maybe there is, some fight this smoke, but I don't know. It's a very weird story. I don't know.
I just thought it was funny, and I thought Tony should have came back with something to respond to that. But then, because I saw everybody, even like the AEW group chats that I'm in, that freak out over like any little thing like that, and I was just like, guys, come on, it's not that serious. I mean, like. I think you guys are looking way too much into it. I'm like, why would they start an angle with Regal being MJF's manager and all that just for him to leave in 3 months?
This is not reporting because this is just like my understanding of it from about 2 months ago. There was a belief that Regal was having such a blast with his role in AEW, which is talent, and anything he does that isn't on screen is his own choice. Now, being Regal, that still means every week at TV he shows up early and gets in there and helps guys, but he's a talent first. There was a belief he was having so much fun doing that like Triple H wouldn't even fuck around on that front, Like he'll let him. He knows like they're so close. When it's time, it will be time. So I was really surprised that this rumor all emerged anyway, because that was my understanding of it. Now I don't know shit, obviously, but like it was very surprising to me. Now, granted, think about what we just said about Andrade. Things can change very quick in professional wrestling. I think it's very logical to assume eventually an office job for Regal in WWE is very likely, right? If Triple H
seems like a lot. One day.
Yeah, exactly. They are so close.
But I can also see Tony just giving an office job. He throws those around like Oprah throwing cars out.
Not the same thing, no.
But they're very different. Like
yeah.
I think there's how do I put this? There are probably well-paying jobs that he could give him in WWE where Regal would have to do very little, but could just do what he wants. Whereas in AEW, I don't think it's going out speaking out of turn to say their culture seems a little bit more chaotic at the moment internally. There are very many issues with WWE's culture, folks. Trust me, I'm not doing the thing of like they're the professional company. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying I think it'll be more the kind of thing Regal could retire on eventually.
Yeah, that's the thing with it.
Yeah. I think the real take, like all bits aside, is Regal should just do whatever the fuck he wants, man. Like
it's just gonna be like what Pat was to Vince.
Yeah, exactly.
And it'll be like that sort of role. Like he'll just be around, Yeah, I think one day. I don't know if it'll be this year. I don't know if it'll be next year, the year after. I don't know, but
I never bought. Good.
Like I said, like you were saying, like I think that's where he'll finish his wrestling career up.
But I never got the theory of like it's the perfect way to write him off. Because to me, if he was leaving, Mox would have just found him like in a pool of blood before the pay-per-view, and Max would have killed him off. Like having him in the finish of the main event is like why would that be the last thing he does? I understand Moxie told him to go away, but it's like that's the hottest story, Regal and Max. What is this kind of meeting of villains? The idea of teasing that when you couldn't give it was insane to me. So I never quite got it, but we'll see. Maybe there's more to it. I don't know. So,
but yeah, Regal, wherever he is, he's obviously worth like his weight in gold. Like it's literally he's fucking Regal, man. That's someone that I want to interview.
Don't worry, I'll get in touch with them.
How's the Nigel interview going?
It's going. It's happening.
It's been very quiet on Nigel. Very quiet, right? There's not been any reporting on Nigel.
One day I'm just gonna buy a van and I'm just gonna do like a cross international tour of finding Nigel, and just like talk to people that know.
Would be incredible.
Finding Nigel. We do a
just going to AEW
5-part documentary. It's just like Manny going into all these different wrestling gyms and shit.
None of you guys are like Nigel's like really good at magic. He can do like actual magic tricks and stuff. When I say actual, you know what I mean by right? Like he can do the magic tricks and shit. Yeah. I don't mean he's like an actual, but the idea of Manny like being a part of one of these tricks is fucking incredible. Can you imagine Manny popping at a Nigel card trick?
Yeah, that'd be so funny if I just like show up like I start this documentary and like the first Dynamite that I go to trying to interview wrestlers to find out about Nigel, he just debuts and I'm like, I already found him.
Yeah, got him.
We got him. But yeah, man, 2023, the interviews on the WrestlePurists channel will definitely become like a thing, Well, it's definitely going to be a thing that we work towards. I don't know how many of we're actually going to be able to pump out, but it's definitely something that we're going to pursue because we've never really pursued them. Like it's always been something that people have recommended to us. But
hey, man, is that a shoot? Because if he's going to,
I don't even know if that's a real Hangman anymore. So, you know what I mean? Like, we ever since we've been on this channel, pretty much there's been all kinds of shapes and sizes when it comes to backup Hangman impersonators.
Look, man, I'm super disappointed going. Like, I kind of felt like Tony Khan found out that I was going to Final Battle and just kicked the shit out of me, and decided to put on the worst card. So he's gonna be there. Makes up. Missing
my thing with the Final Battle card, it's like okay, the main event isn't exciting remotely to me. As much as a good match, I know it'll be. It's just not like exciting. It's nothing that's gonna like get me to spend my money.
It's actually
then you've got like FTR versus the Gun Club. It'll be like fun to see what FTR does with that. Because because they really like the Gun. They like the Gun Club, you know what I mean? They like the Gun Brothers, so it's like they're gonna want to like. They seem like a team that they can really get quite a lot out of. You know what I mean? But like again, it's not like some blockbuster fucking
Not at
pay per view.
all.
Like not at all. I want the Briscoes on the card. I don't know what they're going to be doing. Then you've got like Samoa Joe versus Wardlow, which feels more like a Dynamite main event
Still
than a
don't
Ring of
believe
Honor
that.
match.
I just can't. It's such an insane match for Final Battle. I'm not buying it, but I don't know.
You know, he is saying he's the real backup Hangman. So, you know, have you ever seen those core videos on YouTube where they says it's actually me, and they go to like these different things? I feel like that's what Hangman just did right now.
Yeah.
This is actually me. Sorry.
Final Battle's in a weird spot.
It's
I
a
don't
weird
know.
one.
I think the Gun Club match is like it's a degree of crazy that on some level I respect because I understand that the guys in the match think that like they think highly of the Gun Club, and from what I can gather, a lot of the wrestlers do. On the actual television show, like very little of the audience takes them seriously at all, and we don't need to explore why or whose fault that is. Like, it's just that is what it is.
Yeah.
So like if you're putting together an FTR, Ring of Honor pay-per-view, one of your like biggest, hooks is who are FTR going to fight for the tag belts, right? The first two pay-per-views for Ring of Honor thus far under Tony Khan has been about FTR Briscoes. To me, the plan would be let's find like an all-star team, let's find a dream match for FTR, some kind of crazy match. Maybe it's guys from outside the promotion, but it appears like it's going to be the Gun Club, and I think it's kind of crazy. I mean, I think the match will be really good. It just feels like a real weird choice for pay-per-view. Again, maybe it isn't. Maybe we're wrong, but we'll see.
It's just not pay-per-view, is it? You know?
No.
It's like you said, Final Battle. It's in a weird place, man. But
Well,
go on, man.
Yeah, Ben Dixon, can you put up his super chat?
I will. I've got a few I need to pull up actually. So we'll get there, man. One sec.
Not super chat.
I'll read that one later. Sorry, Ben.
All this interview turns into Joe trying to get the pencil for World of Sport 3.0. But
look, the dream scenario for me, some people in this game, they want to become a big scoop star, do podcasts with Dave Meltzer and all that stuff will be cool.
I do.
But for me, it's like my account just goes private with no explanation of where I go. And then like a year later, I return and go, got the gig, tried my best. We took off ITV1. I fucked it up, booked a couple of shitty angles, and I'm back for the experience. That'd be the ideal play for me. Like people ask where I am, Monty's like, he got an opportunity. He'll be back soon.
That was like that day on the Grin where like you disappeared at the same time that NXT UK came back. Remember?
Yes, I remember that vividly. Yeah. World of Sport 3, that'd be something. Good luck.
Man King 1984, 199. Appreciate you. AO interviewing Ric Flair would be generational. That would probably get us cancelled in some way.
It would definitely go viral.
Yeah, Ric Flair would definitely let loose on that show. Yeah.
There would be a lot of comments about you should have more respect for the legend. With really mad about it that there's jokes on the show.
And I think this is the one Manny was getting to. Ben Dixon, $2. Go ahead, man.
Briscoes versus Kenta and Marufuji at Final Battle, please. Yes, when I saw that graphic pop up for them versus I already forgot Kojima and Sikoa, bro. I lit up like a Christmas tree, and to me, that's the match I'm looking for on that week. I don't care about Shinsuke and Muda. This is the match. That's the match I'm ready for. And if Kenta comes out to his shitty Rey Mysterio WCW song, here we go, baby.
Just chill on calling it shitty, all right, boss? Let's take it easy.
Calm down a bit.
Kenta and Marufuji, that's the kind of match I'm talking about. To me, if I'm putting the card together, we need something crazy for FTR, Now, when I say crazy, I mean for the hardcore fan, like this, for example.
Yeah, bro, like Ring of Honor, get back to the good old days, bro. Like when it was like this weird, like you fly people over and just have bangers, like just fucking. Yeah. Oh, it's AEW, bro. Like all these companies want to work with them, except for WWE, obviously for obvious reasons. But it's like all these companies are more than happy to work with AEW, it seems, because like they're kind of like, perception was like the good guys in the industry that work with people. And obviously, if you can get your wrestlers on national television through AEW, then that's a bonus for these other promotions as well. So it's just, I don't know, like work with Noah, work with Dragon Gate, work with New Japan, work with everyone, work with Stardom, work with AAA, work with fucking. Well, you kind of have to pick one with AAA and CMLL, but
Look, man, look.
Get crazy with it.
Tony Khan's cool with Noah. Noah hit him up and said, "Is it cool we have Shinsuke?" Look, this is when Tony hits him up and says, "Is it cool if I book Kenta Marufuji versus FTR?" The match would rule. I would be happy. I might upgrade my tickets. Just everybody wins. Except my wallet.
Kyle said as well, even FTR versus Claudio Danielson. Remember when the tease FTR versus Claudio and you?
Yes.
You didn't go nowhere.
I will say, to Kyle's point, I don't think it's impossible they do something with Danielson. And I this is pure guesswork. They have completely left behind the Utah thing. Remember the Utah thing where you was real mad at Brian? I don't think they haven't done anything on that last few weeks, right? Have I missed it?
No.
I could see them for the Ring of Honor show doing FTR versus Utah and Brian. I wouldn't expect it, but it's like the fact that they're wrestling Brian on TV, I think it's a vague, very outside chance at doing something with Brian. We'll see. I'll be much more fitting for this show, I think. But the Gun Club match, that's a TV match, man. Do that in Dynamite.
Yeah. Ibrahim and Niang throw some DDT people on the card, throw some AAA's goes on. The card doesn't have to be an Elevation Dynamite lineup. That's basically kind of the point I was getting to, really. So just get kind of wild with it, just kind of throw names on a card, from all over the world, and that's kind of try recapture that kind of Ring of Honor, old school unpredictability, who you're going to see on the card, and who they're going to fly over this time, and that kind of stuff. Darren Walker, £5 super chat. Surprised they never done FTR versus Motor City Machine Guns when they were in with Jay Lethal All Out.
That was a weird, kind of a forgotten match, right? All of that kind of just people got hyped and assumed they were going to do a tag match, and the trios match kind of just came and went, and didn't really make much of an impact. I agree with that. I'm surprised too.
Yeah, it's weird, bro. The FTR's last few months. I know some people go a bit far with it, with conspiracy theories, about them being completely finished, and you know what I mean. But it's FTR's last few months, considering how hot they were in the middle of the year. It's it's just weird, man. It's just weird.
Yeah.
The direction they went on. If you would have said to any FTR fan at the peak of their popularity in 2022, in when was it, May, if you would have said to them this is what they were going to do for the rest of the year, you would be what the fuck, do you know?
Yeah, I'm torn on it because I agree, but I think the perfect booking direction may have limited them in terms of some of the weird shit they've done. Their year has been really packed with wild things. In January they wrestled the Rock and Roll Express, They had fucking the 2 matches with the Briscoes. They had this classic in London that I'm forever thankful I was there for. They defended the belts last month in Japan, or this month in Japan. God, that was this month, which is insane. And then obviously Dexter and Brian and singles this Wednesday. And I think some of the kind of weirder elements of their year have come from the strange booking, the disjointed booking.
Yeah,
if you were booking the promotion, FTR would have been the tag champs in this stretch, and it's you're not going to be rushing to just have Dax lose to Brian on Wednesday for the pop of it, right? So what I'm basically saying is, I agree, but in a weird way, it's kind of been fun to just watch them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
like I said, it's not like they've been buried or anything. They've done stuff. It's just been not the direction that you would have thought they would have gone on at that time. But obviously they're great wrestlers and they're very adaptable. Even in this second half of the year, they've still been able to pull off a lot of fun, great stuff. Like you said as well, even the match in London with Aussie Open, it's maybe we wouldn't have got that, So even from the Rock and Roll Express all the way to those elite match of the year tag contenders sort of thing, they've had we done a post for the WrestlePurists Awards that we start in and it was just kind of to get an idea of who the nominee is going to be. So we're going to do these series of tweets asking people, like, who do you think? And today's tweet was, who do you think should be considered for tag team of the year? It's like FTR probably, like, judging from like the early feeling I'm getting, FTR are probably going to run away with that award even still. So they've still had a tag team of the year type run regardless.
Is the Dax Speedball match out there? Is there like a way to watch that? Because the live reviews were that it was like incredible. Was it on pay-per-view or something?
Look, man, we gotta talk about Dax doing all these indie shows that have like no video cameras or whatever, man. That's selfish,
I think it's crazy in 2022 that, like,
think of your fans.
I just think it's crazy in 2022 that it's like these shows happen with like names like Dax Harwood, who are like TV stars, and like we don't know if it's been recorded or out there, because like Joe literally just asked, like, we don't know. I'm sure it is probably out there, but if it isn't, like, it's just wild that still happens. I think.
It's just hard, man.
We got FTR versus the American Wolves. Come on, man. I'm not gonna watch some handheld that, Come on, man. Get some quality video out there.
Let's do this Hooper of the week.
Yes, we have to go.
Yeah. We got like 5 minutes. We're gonna do Hooper of the week and get the fuck out.
Oh yeah. So with introducing Hooper of the Week special edition.
Actual.
Post the graphic.
Okay, I hope we get the right order.
Oh, come on. Okay, yeah. So this is the runner-up, Alexa Bliss. She didn't get it. I don't make runner-up graphics, but for Joe, here's Alexa Bliss, runner-up.
Thank you, man. I appreciate. I did request that when you said that she was on any other week should have taken it. I said we need the graphic, brother. We need the runner-up graphic. We just need it,
And Chris Jericho saying your game was respectable this week, but next time level up another level.
Look at Jericho.
It's the way the Ring of Honor title kind of looked like it's supposed to be there, Good bit of editing.
Dude, I have to say, Manny picked 2 like elite shots of their faces for this, right? Like nailed it. Like, look at that.
Okay, so that is the Wizard / Hooper of the Week runner-up, and what picture am I doing now, man?
Show him with the Dumbledore's face on the ball.
Okay.
There's a Wizard of the Week.
The Wizard of the Week is drumroll. Bum 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 bum
bum bum bum bum bum. The Ocho, Chris Jericho.
Oh my fucking god! Look at Hager.
Oh, read the fucking the title. The Wizard Wars Attack of the Stone People.
Look at Tony.
Oh man, we've got some talented people at this website. Let me tell you. We've got some super chats. Custodian Brian Pillman Jr. $4.99. Appreciate you. Long effing weekend. I had to clean up the WarGames cage, and I don't even work for that company. I would just respect the commitment to this bit at this point. He's a good guy, Appreciate you always. Darren Walker, £2. When will Hangman return to the pod? Much missed. He's reflecting. He's finding himself out in the world. He's looking out into the mountains. He's back when he's back. There's no time scale on it. Quirky Boy, £2. Appreciate you. Art, that's all Manny knows. Ben Dixon. FDR have had 5 2-on-2 tags on Dynamite in 2022. That's a wild statistic.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, you get what you get, But I'm putting this back up because it's just factual,
I think I did outdo myself with replacing Darth Vader's head and putting Ishii's there.
You did.
That's the real one.
Such a great shot. Look at Ishii. Oh fuck! It's glorious.
We've had a good time, Right, have we got any plug? Yeah, Manny, you've actually got something to plug this week.
Oh yeah.
I
So
do too.
I had a feature come out 2 days ago about the ROH 4-way, but since it's Jericho Day, we're gonna upload my feature about Jericho and Ishii today, so we can all include it all in one day, and then maybe he can see it and read it. Then I can be friends with Jericho too now. There you
The only
go.
problem with that is the quote that Monty pulled from the article was, "It was fun to watch Jericho try to keep up." So what will actually happen is Chris is going to quote tweet it at like 4 a.m. and be like, "What the fuck is this?" Blocks Manny immediately, and we have to deal with that fallout. But hopefully, I'm wrong.
Oh no, we give him rest of the week as well. So
True.
He's gonna, but Jericho's gonna have fun when he reads the first sentence of the paragraph of the story. So
I think he would like it very much if he reads it. Absolutely.
I mean,
he does read that stuff a lot too, so I think he'll enjoy it.
he's definitely seen it more now. Like he's been along, you know. Jericho's one of them people. Like, you know, when if someone tweets something about him and he's got like 100 logs or whatever, like he sees it. Like,
and I won't tweet out the Hooper of the Week graphic until the feature comes out, so then I can link the feature in
the feature's out.
Feature's out, yeah.
Oh,
feature's out, bro.
That's what I was thinking. I was like,
Both of them.
Well, the feature's out now, guys.
there you go.
So I guess I'll put the post out now then.
Quickly,
While I eat my lasagna.
Quick super chat. Adrian 499 rewatched the Ring of Honor 4-way because of Manny, and it was 5 times better. Dumpy Guevara did all right.
that rules.
Appreciate you, Adrian.
I have a 24-hour stream later this week. It starts Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern on latenightgrin.com, and then we move to the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/latenightgrin. Yes.
Why are you doing a 24-hour stream, Joe? The audience want to know.
Well, I did a tweet. I said, if Triple H did something as funny as put Alexa Bliss in WarGames, I'd do a 24-hour stream, and got to fucking respect it. He was funny enough. He did it. Didn't really get the content out of that match I was looking for, but you get what you get, I suppose. 24 hours ahead of me this Thursday night. Good calls.
What time are you starting it?
9 Eastern. That's 2 a.m. for us, Monty.
You're starting it at 2 a.m.
You got to cross that bridge at some point, Chief. At some point,
Jesus.
I'll
pop in.
I'll be on that too.
I'm on for 24 hours.
Yeah, man. Obviously, we'll keep an eye out for that. Keep an eye out for all of Manny's features, and kind of like keep an eye out as well for our WrestlePurists Award nominees tweets, because I really want to make that like a thing this year.
Dax Harwood.
I'm going to be presenting
one last super chat. Ben Dixon getting in early. Rest in peace, Joe. What was you going to say, Manny?
I'm going to debut my 30-minute comic special on the 24-hour stream. So
it's a very good idea. Very
can't
good.
Wait. We're looking forward to it. But
I'm just kidding.
Shout out the Wizards of the Week, Chris Jericho. Shout out the runner-up Alexa Bliss, and I've been Monty. It's been Joe. It's been Manny the Hooper, and this has been WrestlePurists Worldwide, and we're gonna get out of here. So peace.
Worldwide.